Hello everyone, how's it going? How y'all doing this week? Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're having a good week. It's been kind of mentally a hard week for me. I don't know, it's been just a lot of intrusive thoughts early in the morning as soon as I wake up. Sometimes as I'm opening my eyes, my thoughts will just go into these horrible directions, and it gets hard to, shake them off. There's just new times when they're happening. I'll be in the middle of a work day, just more often than not, especially when I'm tired, especially when I'm not otherwise occupied. Sometimes I'll multitask just so I could cloud up my head with a bunch of different things, like I'm getting so much work done because I'm doing 2-3 things at a time. But oh, look, it's my COVID test for home. Sorry, for those of you that are just listening, I was moving a box COVID test out of camera shot. Yeah, I mean, just I didn't even want to do a show today. I just have not been feeling myself, I guess, recently. It's getting harder to. It's just one of those bad days, you know what I mean? I talked about it early in this podcast that I was going to do this show no matter what. And so this is what this looks like when I'm not feeling too great. But let's shake it off. Let's shake it off together. I don't have anything really planned today, so let's figure this out and get past it. I guess I'm your host, Mike Gonzalez. Welcome to Lostlikemike, where at least we forget. Some weeks I'm going to be a little bit more lost than others. So thank you for joining this conversation. Thank you for joining me hanging out with myself and in the dangerous world of introspection, when perhaps self-awareness is not the most popular thing to do. Metacognition, as it were. Thank those of you who have subscribed to the YouTube channel, have reviewed my podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening to it or watching it. Thank you for emailing me at lostlikemike@gmail.com and making show suggestions or telling me about what's going on in your life or all the different things that we do. I take comfort in knowing that others are going through similar things, and finding solutions or hope in that idea, finding solace in the things that we share as a people. It's funny. The other day there was Sarah Silverman, and we don't always see eye to eye, but she was echoing something that we talked about on this podcast, which I thought was very, very much what I believe this podcast is just me verbalizing what the thoughts that come into my mind, and in hopes that they're tapping into a sort of a collective sort of consciousness out there, that I can't be the only one feeling these things or thinking these things. And she said that, but she had an interesting take on it. Early in the early episodes, we talked about how sometimes it feels like nothing matters. Like, why bother striving to do better at anything, or to produce anything? What has any sort of intrinsic value? What has value? What is value? Outside of a construct that we've invented. But she was saying how she was having a night like that where she just could not shake this idea that nothing mattered, and she went and performed a show, and God, I'm gonna butcher her story, but she has a podcast, Sarah Silverman, and so if you want to look it up and hear it the correct way, you're more than welcome to. But basically, she was saying how much of a downer it was that nothing mattered. But then, for whatever reason, my guess was that, I think that's what I get for peripherally listening, but my guess is that she had a bad show, and then at the end of the night said, well, it doesn't matter because nothing matters. So she flipped it and made herself feel better, thinking of the same thing that had troubled her all day. But in terms of what I just found it interesting that she was having that sort of internal battle, trying to find purpose or value in the things that she does, which made me feel better about the internal struggle that I sometimes have. What is the purpose of writing a children's book or putting out an album or music? Whatever the case is, why put out a podcast? I mean, I have my answers for that. I can't answer that for you or for anybody else. I do the things that I do because I find that it gives me gives my life value. It makes me happy. I will admit, sometimes it's a distraction. I remember sometimes the intrusive thought, or the thought that would come into my mind when my father was in the senior home, when he would have very I guess lucid like coming in and out of lucid moments, and would have especially difficult times, they would have him color and draw and color. My father was an artistic man. I remember he used to tell me that because he had an artistic eye, he could he could see a straight line and draw a straight line, and then come back with a ruler and it would be straight, because he had that eye of seeing what was right and that kind of stuff. And anyway, I know that he loved to color and to create, and so when I was illustrating the children's book, sometimes I would catch myself really focusing on the art, and I would hear those thoughts echo in my mind, like if it was my way, if it was my own way of pacifying myself, and chasing away any sort of time to think of anything that was bothersome, or if I was just distracting myself from feeling all of these horrible things that aren't fun to feel. But yeah, so to be honest, sometimes it would make me not want to work on the book. Sometimes I'd have to battle past that to get the work done. I didn't want to feel like I was just pacifying myself, or just quieting the bad thoughts, or whatever. I didn't like that idea either. So I think it was compounded by a couple things this week, guys. I had started a new heart medicine, and so this is kind of like the update portion. And so I wasn't allowed to drink alcohol, at least early on. The way that I read the side effects, I didn't want to mess with alcohol. And I'm not really listen, one of these days, if you feel like it, if you put it in the comments, or if you want to hear about my trouble with alcohol, we can do that, whatever. I don't know, I feel like talking about it right now, but I when I sing, sometimes I like to have a little bit, a little sip. I don't completely buy into the whole idea that drugs or alcohol make people better artists. I remember Jim Morrison would say that it would push you into different realms or whatever. I get that idea of broadening in your mind and seeing different perspectives, but a lot of it is inhibition. It's getting past the part of yourself that cares what other people think. It's just harder to get there sober. It's not impossible, though. I mean, I know sometimes people like you better when you're a little loosey-goosey. And admittedly, I mean, if I drank before I did one of these, you'd probably like me better too. But I think you can have a conscious effort and play the role. People thought I was on coke for the longest time. I just had allergies and a lot of energy. I actually really, I wish that I could. I've never done any psychotropic drugs or any. The only time I think I did, no, I didn't do any sort of stimulant or no I've never done coke or anything like that. I never had an inclination towards it. It was available all the time, but I never liked anything up my nose. Never liked needles. But sometimes, I mean, like right when I'm really tired, I mean, I've had a really rough time of it lately. Like, I'd love to just do a bump and then be all, chatty Cathy with a lot of Jews up here. I'm sure it'd be highly entertaining. But I just never, I've always had an aversion to all things mind altering. I had an idea for a show, and here, like, I'm gonna put this out there. If any of y'all want to take it, it'd be a show hosted by, well, I haven't figured this part out, but it's called You and Ayahuasca. You and Ayahuasca. Because I really would like to do ayahuasca. I would like to, I think that I hear all these stories about it really giving a glimpse into these other dimensions, these other, like another level of thinking that makes you feel at peace with things, and I really could use that. Like I can't even tell you, man. But if somebody would like to do that show, and it would be like a different celebrity or somebody, and they would follow their trip or their experience. So join us this week on You and Ayahuasca, or whatever celebrity starts throwing up in a bucket and talking about their childhood. I don't know. Whatever it is that people do on this thing. See the shape people, or I don't know, whatever happens. I need some of that crazy. I got to get rid of some of this crazy. I don't even know what we're talking about. Coke, I think. Maybe before that, something else. Anyway, alcohol. Oh, right. The break on through to the other side. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I don't know if I buy into all that. I do know that certain people swear by it. Stephen King says he did a lot of, like, his best work when he was, tripping balls or whatever it was. Lots of people swear by it, but I think it's just you have that in you already. If you could just get past caring about, like, I think by this point, a lot of times, I don't think that a lot of people will listen to this podcast. So I just say whatever I'm just talking about whatever I want. Sometimes I'll catch myself, and I would have normally had said a foul word or some sort of obscenity, just in my normal conversation that I'd have with, like, a buddy or whatever, and I'll catch myself before I say something and change the language a little bit. But overall, I feel like I'm tapping into to an ability to sort of to openly chat and not really care about who hears it. So anyway, so further with regard to the update, man, I'm in a bad way with this whole exercise thing. No excuses. In the mornings, I want to play with my kid before she goes to school, and before you know it, I'm out to work, and then when I get home at night, I'm just not doing it. So I got to do it. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. I wanted to be on episode whatever this is, 9 or 8 or whatever it is, and be like, oh, I remember when you said that on episode 6. You're super captain full of it, like, because then I'll really feel it, It's been a rough couple weeks, man. I just gotta shake it off. I had this one neuroscientist was like, and I just heard this yesterday. Just work out one time, and your mind will produce all these chemicals that'll just make you feel hella better. I mean, that's where you got to get addicted to. That's what you got to want to tap into, because it's kind of it's the same thing as eating your feelings, but it's just producing these things by exercise. I don't know, I just got to figure out when to do it, and I will, because I know that it's directly tied to some of this anguish that I've been feeling. So, been thinking a lot about being the idea of having a man card. I mean, I know it sounds super. I remember being in high school. This was back a long time ago, and my teacher was giving me a hard time for me saying that something was, it was manly, or like, I remember saying, well, I didn't invent this language. I didn't invent these this notion that certain attributes are typical, or more typical of men than women. At the time you had men are from Mars, women are from Venus. This popular concept that there was differences between genders that were significant, and you could map them out and point them out. And now everything is, I don't really know anymore, to tell you the truth. There's a lot of double standards going on, where there's positive things that women say, well, that's, as a woman, we're caring and nurturing, and we're, and you can make statements like that, but you can't say, as a man, X, Y, and Z, because no, women can be that too. Well, no, of course. Sometimes more so. Sometimes, I remember the same thing in reverse, in terms of when you talk about men being competitive. Well, that's just, men being cutthroat competitive, and as if it's this this negative. And I've seen it in different TV shows and stuff, where women portray themselves as, and not having that as that some sort of pejorative. It's just being overly competitive, and let them fight it out, because competitive, but I'm here to tell you, I've seen some women cut some throats in my time for competitive reasons. So fair game. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. The idea of a man card has been popping up in my mind recently. And for the purposes of this conversation, let's go ahead and say that it's just, we're going to go all the way archetype man, hunter-gatherer, provider. And what does that actually entail, or what does that, what does that, what would that be described as if we were to take an objective, try to just say what maketh a man? Because sometimes, you hear the expression, well, that takes away from his man card. And I think that's where I heard it somewhere, and it made me think about it. I've heard it many times being used, for, and several times I've said it to myself that I put my man card, it was a questionable, my man card being put into question. I remember once I was playing football, and they said, well, okay, we're switching from flag football to tackle. And I remember this big guy was running right at me, and I was about to go down, and I stopped. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm down. I had a bad knee, and it doesn't matter. The guy didn't know that. Nobody knows that. Nobody cares. Just the fact that I just said, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm down. Just right there. You put your man card in question. And I did. I had a bum knee, man. It's just the way it is. I mean, you don't have to prove yourself, People are always wanting to prove themselves as to be like manly or whatever. I provide for my family, I work 2-3 jobs, whatever it takes. They never go without. I call my son all the time. I hang out with my daughter in the mornings and all the time. I don't know what, I go to work. I do my bit. I don't know what people expect. I remember there was this one time. It was during the time that I was without work. And I had a friend of mine was running this construction company. And I had met them in college, and they were running this construction company, and they said, so you're looking for work? Can use some help out at one of our sites? You can come out and help out for the day. We'll give you some cash or whatever. And I was like, I'm down. I'm super down. And I should preface the story by saying a couple of things, because like my football story, I'm already painting myself out. You know, I can play tackle football, right? Don't be dick. I was just having a bad day. Anyway, come out and do construction. Couple things. So number one, I was on blood clot medicine at the time. It was some kind of heart medicine, not like the kind of heart medicine I'm on right now. But I mean, I could tell you about this medicine. God, I wish I would have written it down. It had a very adverse effect on me. Like, it made me very lightheaded. It was like a blood thinner, I guess, and it would make me feel really. My body would sort of do weird stuff that made me feel like it was betraying me. Like, anyway, but I needed the money, so in addition, it was like one of the hottest record days. Like, it was the heat was off the charts. But I'll get into the heat in a minute, okay? But also, I had no idea what I was in for. Like, it wasn't like, hey, could you come out and do this specific job, like unload a trailer or I don't know, put nails into boards or something. Whatever. There was no instructional, like, hey, show up to the site and you're going to be carrying buckets of stuff. So I dusted off my work boots, right? I wore you know how the real pros wear long sleeve shirts, even though it's the hottest weather ever, because they're protecting themselves with like the bandana and I mean, I took dressing the part very seriously. Anyway, and I go out to this site, and so I mean, there was a little bit of a language barrier, but the guy was running a machine, and it was pretty clear when I got there. He said it was basically I was going to be taking the rebar, which are these metal rods, because they were tearing up the cement, I don't know, driveway, this giant driveway, mashing it up into these big chunks of rocks, concrete, whatever. And then there was these rebars just all over the place. So my job was to get these rebars and stack them. And so some would have like pieces of concrete still attached to it. So some of it was heavy. But you're basically climbing over rubble and cleaning out these different bars. And they had this giant, wicked, like not chainsaw, but like buzzsaw. Like, I can't describe it. Like, it was a thing that cut rebar. So if the rebar was this weird, wicked long line, you would cut it. I did not want to mess with this. Okay. It looked dangerous, but it looked like, so my thing was, I'll just carry the really heavy long rebar with some concrete attached to the ends. I couldn't ask the guy, like, hey, how do you use this? I couldn't be like, do you mean I'm supposed to cut the rebar, or am I supposed to cut the concrete? I couldn't I couldn't ask very crucial questions. So my workaround was that I was just going to carry these really heavy things and move them. But mind you, okay. So I lasted maybe 2 hours. Maybe an hour and a half. Let me explain why. So we mentioned the heat. I'm going to post pictures on here, but it was so hot. This isn't a joke. It was so hot that it melted the soles off of my boots. The soles of my shoes melted off. And still, I didn't want to lose my man card. So there I am, walking over all this rubble in basically socks with little tops on them. And then I just said, you know what? This is stupid. I'm lightheaded. I'm walking around with my socks. I mean, at one point I turned on the thing, the big buzzsaw thing, and I went and it made some spark. I said, I'm sparking, and I said, no, but I'm done. I called my friend. I said, you know what? I left the stove on. I don't know. It was bad. And even to this day, I want to call my friend and be like, hey, I want to do over. Because of that idea, that man card thing. Because I feel like it's not a good look. And I bet you, I mean, I always say that other people think like, there's got to be people that think like I do, or that have the same thoughts I do. I don't know, man. One time I busted my mailman taking a picture of me. I might have a picture of it myself, but I think he thought that I was being okay, because I had wore this. I had a hat on, right, and then I had one of those. It's kind of like a face mask, but it's not really. It's because you tuck it in your shirt and you wear it over your nose. And the idea was that I was being very affected by allergies, right? And I was cutting the grass. So I wanted to have this face covering, right? And then I had the brand Speedo. I had these Speedos, glasses, these goggles, and then a hat on. And he took a picture of me. I saw him. Because I think that he thought I was being like COVID paranoid. I really do. Like, look at this dumbass. Like, you can't catch it out and walking around your neighborhood and, something like that. But really, I was just trying to avoid allergies. And I took all the garbage off after they photographed me. But what got me thinking about that was, I remember there was this separate time when I've just finished mowing the backyard and mowing the front yard. I have my doing the lawn outfit on. Now that I say that out loud, it's not making me feel good. But it was just, I'm saying I wear my shitty shoes and then my bad jeans that are all ratty and a long sleeve shirt, whatever. But I look drenched in sweat and because I pull weeds, I do all this. It's a whole spectacle. But these neighbors are coming by, right? And they're pushing a stroller, and it's a man and his wife, and they got their dog or their kids and whatever. And so my mind does this math pretty quick. Like, you're about to start the lawnmower, so, don't start the lawnmower just yet. Just put the weeds into this paper bag or whatever. And so when they walk by, you're not going to town on this lawnmower, and right? So you're doing all this mental math, trying to be considerate to your neighbors that are walking by with their children and dogs and whatever. And then my mind starts doing this mental math about, well, you're going to need to say hi to them because you look kind of sketch with your dirtiness and, your lawn madness, and you want to seem friendly, but you still want to be kind of like, because the guy's there and he's pushing the stroller with his wife, so you want to say hi to him, but you don't want to be like whatever. And like, I'm doing all this mental math, and then they get up to where I'm at, and so I'm like back and forth in my mind, and then I just blurt out, hi, and I wave like a quick side, and then instantly regret it. The guy's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, okay, I quit. I'll just be over here chopping down a tree and skinning a deer I caught and hunted or whatever. There's just, I got my humble story of the week, guys. I was at this restaurant, this drive-through, and I had asked for this food done a particular way because of not my issue, but my wife has these allergies and it can be pretty whatever. Long story short, I say it at the intercom, whatever, where you get your order. I say, hey, just don't have any of this avocado or guacamole or whatever it was, this green stuff. Just can't be anywhere near it. Because I don't want to, it's going to get her all sick or whatever. So, and this is the whole thing, to put it into context, like if you want to look back on whatever, on the history of why it's such a big deal, I've gotten all the way home and found avocado or guacamole or whatever, and she can't eat it because it'll put her in the hospital or whatever. She'll turn to a puffer fish, and right? So I get to the window tonight, let's just be honest, tonight. And I get to the window and I looked at the lady dead in the eyes and I say, no green stuff, right? No guacamole, no avocado. And she says, nope. Right? Not on one of them, right? Because that's... So I pull forward out of the range of the window after I get my stuff. I had this bad feeling, so I just took a peek. Popped the top on one of them. And wouldn't you know it? Right? Avocado. Guacamole. And I just get really upset because I looked in your stupid eyes and I said, it's not there, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, people make mistakes. It's all good. But how are you going to sit there and, right? So I can't reverse straight back because there's cars already behind me, but they have these dual lanes set up. So I do a little maneuver and I do a little serpentine and I go into the second lane and I see the lady in the wind, not my lady, not the dumbass that said that she had nothing in there, but a new lady. And I see her turn to say, go, like I waved at him and said, you know, I'm out here. Like, I'm on the second lane. I don't want to sit here for all night. And a lady comes out to my car. I believe it's a manager. And I tell her my spiel. And I'm not mean. I'm not all, like, nobody could be filming me and putting me on TikTok as some sort of, you know, what do they call them these days? Me in the wild or whatever. Karen in the wild or whatever they call them. Anyway, but I'm very stern and I'm like, I didn't want to end up in the hospital, you know, and I wasn't overly dramatic about it, but I just said, hey, man, I can't take this home. All right, so really went on this story too long. I get home and I'm telling my wife this story. And she's like, you got some stuff on your nose. And I had whatever it was, something I gotten on my nose. So I gave that whole speech to that manager with her thinking that I had a booger on my nose or something. I felt pretty vindicated on the drive home because they ended up giving me the correct order and letting me keep the other one, which I didn't really care about keeping the other one. I didn't want it. She didn't want it back. When I said, I can't take, you know, this home, she won't eat it. And, well, I can't take it back, so you have to keep it. So I just felt vindicated that I didn't drive all the way home like a dummy. You know, I can never just have that win. You know, there's always something. It always got to be like, you know, you had a booger on your nose or whatever it was. I'm sure it was just it's probably a booger. Whatever it was. I don't care. But, can never just have the win. What is it about watching people fight, like boxing matches or UFC, that I don't like it? I mean, I don't like seeing people get hurt, but I find myself watching them, and recently I've been watching a lot of highlights. It's the worst when somebody gets knocked out. Like you hear them you just see them for 1 second to the next, and then their body goes all stiff sometimes. Sometimes the body goes all limp and just whoop, falls over. Sometimes, and then these fighters hop on top of them and start getting a couple licks in there before the refs, like, you know, letting them know, hey, case you didn't know, this guy's lights out, man. When you know damn well that they're gone. Like, it's the most awful look when you see these people get clocked, and then they're just all, their eyes get glassed over and they just clunk over. Oh, it's the worst. But there I am, sitting there watching it. What? You want to replay it 3 times? I'll join you. Let's watch. Yep, definitely was out. Oh, definitely. Oh, he hit him with his knee in his face. And then when the guy falls flat on his face and his arms are at his side, and everybody in the whole cheap seats knows that the dude's lights out, not the fighter standing in the same ring. They think, oh, I need to punch this dude that's defenseless and his hands are at his sides 2-3 times in the face before the ref jumps in. Which, hello, to the ref as well. I mean, I get the fighter's in the middle of the throws and has all of the adrenaline and the juice of wanting to fight. But at the same time, I get it. I don't want to put myself between 2 guys that are 200 pounds and ripping each other's faces off. I don't know. I don't really watch sports like a lot of guys watch sports. I like being in the sport. I don't understand organized sports. Like, a lot of them, like, are so heavily influenced by the referees. I don't understand the appeal. I like particular sports people. I like football. I like old quarterbacks. They make me happy because they're out there, doing it at a high level, at an older age. You're, but yeah, I don't get it. Like, I don't rock a team. Because I came up in a time where, like, you start noticing these players are from all around the world. It's not like they came up in your neighborhood or something, or even then that sounds kind of silly because it's the same notion. It's just a different form of tribalism. I don't get it. If you're in the game, then that makes sense, right? Because you have a stake in it where you can influence the outcome for better or for worse. But it gives you sort of a dog in the fight, as it were. But I don't get it. Like, I can enjoy the mastery of something, like watching Steph Curry take shots from, like, all of these different long range shots. It's very interesting to see that sort of talent. I mean, I used to love to watch like a Kobe or like a Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, just the fluidity, like the way that they could move with the ball. But I don't, caring if one team wins or another. To me, it's just something you can, in that sense you can watch it, but not in a sense of winning or losing, just in the sense of oh, did you see that catch? Or did you see that play? That getting 2 people out on baseball or whatever. I'd rather be playing. Let's put it like that. And when fighting, I wouldn't rather be fighting, but I'm saying I don't know what the allures, something gets you to watch it when they're beating the crap out of each other. Anyway, we've talked about a lot of things. Well, I appreciate y'all hanging out. I feel better having talked a bit. I think I may start revisiting topics from time to time, because I feel like I delve into something and then I don't conclude anything. I just kind of go off on it for a while and then I let it go. I think that's kind of fun for me though. Yeah, so I appreciate y'all hanging out. I appreciate y'all telling a friend or suggesting topics or suggesting things that you'd like to talk about, bearing with my mental issues. I don't know, some of you that are downloading these episodes or listening consistently might notice that recently I've just been leaving a lot of not editing a lot at all, or I'll add some pictures or something. But I'm trying to be as honest as possible, as in terms of just sharing my thoughts within this time frame and kind of sorting through. Anyway, please, if you would, I'd love to see some emails at lostlikemike@gmail.com. Continue the dialogue. Make suggestions in the comments, what have you. Let's just survive another week, guys. We'll do the best we can. And maybe I'll get medicated. We'll see where we go from here. But have a great week, and I will talk to y'all next week. I look forward to it. We'll see you then. Peace.